The hospitality business is a $1 billion industry. And once upon a time, only those who owned the property were the ones that benefited from this massive market. But now today, you don't have to own property and still can amass some wealth. Our next guest is going to show you how to do exactly that. All right, let's get it. Hey, wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant, or a small business owner who has a story and wants to learn how to create multiple streams of income from your story, I need you to text me right now, my book, to 646-687-4152. That is my personal number. I have been an author for over 12 years. I've written 10 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers, and I've sold over 100,000 books. But I've also helped a lot of my clients take their expertise and put it into a story, then create multiple streams of income from that. So I want to help you do the same thing. So text my book to 646-687-4152. All right, let's go back to the video.
Pay attention and listen, we about to teach class. Inside the vault, my man Ash Cash. So get your man right. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. You see him, we change your life. Millionaire mindset, the best on earth. Blueprint, the wealth, the knowledge network. So get it while you can, and he's standing right here. Just come inside the vault and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Come inside the vault and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You won't ask cash, you can catch it right here in the vault.
All right, so welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. When I tell you, when you think about the billion-dollar industry that is hospitality, hotels are starting to see a sharp decline. Why? Because Airbnb has come into that market with a $109 billion cap, and they are moving in the upwards direction, right? And so what is the Airbnb market? What happens is that people are able to put their properties up and allow people to rent those properties, short-term rentals, and that is creating a disruption in the hospitality business that we've never seen before. But our next guest is going to talk about how you can actually be a part of that disruption and you don't even have to own property. I got my guy, Kamoy Martin, is in the building. What's up, brother?
Yes, sir. Listen, man, I'm absolutely honored and incredible to be here at Inside the Vault.
Yes,
you know what I'm
sir.
saying? Guys, just a disclaimer, this is actually a real vault, right? Like, crazy, right?
Yes,
I just
sir.
thought it was like a dope backdrop. So
Yep.
I'm honored, my brother.
Nah, thank you, man, for coming through, man. And I love your story. I love what you do. Because, so this year, our family will probably take 4 vacations, right? Last year, we did 2. But every time I look at your social media, I'm like, damn, 4 is not enough, right? Because you're always on vacation. You're a world traveler. And you were able to create a life, right? I seen the Lambo and all, right? You've created a great life for yourself. Yeah. And you did it. And again, we'll get into the story. So I don't know if you own properties now, but I know majority of what you've done has been through not even owning property by leveraging the platform that's Airbnb to be able to amass some wealth. And so I want to get into that. But before we even start, for our insiders, for those who are watching, who is Kamoy Martin?
Yeah, man. Jamaican, right?
Jamaican kid, Reggie.
Bless up.
King.
Jamaican kid, right? I was born in Jamaica, but I was raised in Brooklyn, New York, And you know how that upbringing is, like Caribbean, raised in New York. It's just different.
Yes, sir.
And it's like my family, they sacrifice a lot to transition from Jamaica to go to the United States. And the thing is, they're very school oriented. And I think most immigrant, households typically tend to be very school oriented because they sacrifice a lot to come to America, and they kind of feel like school is going to be like that hope for their child. And I hated school, right? Like my parents used to like, man, I don't want to say it on camera, but they used to be just like really upset with me because I just never really took school seriously. And it's not like I was stupid or I just whatever, but it's just like school just never really excited me. But even though it didn't excite me, I still went and I did the bare minimum. right? And even going to college, right? Like I didn't know what I was gonna really take up in college, but I got a degree in biology. And after graduating from college, I went to Morgan State University in Baltimore. I never found a job in my field. And I ended up working at Department of Social Services as a caseworker, right? And if you know anything about just the social service field, like the pay sucks. I think social workers are some of the most like undervalued people in our communities, right? Because they're offering such an amazing service and helping just underprivileged and low income people. But the thing is, they're just not getting paid enough. And a lot of those people, they went to school for that. Right. I didn't, right? So that a frat brother hooked me up with that job. That was a hookup, but I was getting paid literally less than under $30,000 a year. But yeah, my student loan debt was like $100,000, right? So, but the funny thing is, when I first got that job, I was excited because for anybody that goes to college and ends up in this massive amount of student loan debt, you're just praying for a job, right? Like you're just hoping and praying. And that was me. I was excited. I finally got this entry-level job, but after a couple of years, reality kind of sat in. I'm just like, wait a minute. I went through all these years of school, because how long we go to school for? Like I'm talking about pre-K, right? Like kindergarten, elementary school, junior high.
Like 17 years.
A lot of years.
Yeah, like...
You know, and we really don't really like it, but in the back of our minds, we're like, yo, after we do all this, we're gonna end up working that dream job. We're gonna have that amazing family, the white picket fence, and life is gonna be good, right? That's why you sacrifice those late night, hours to cram for a test, right? But it wasn't like that. Yeah. And I felt like I was having like a midlife crisis in my early 20s, and I'm just like, damn, like this isn't what I expected. Mm-hmm. And I remember just kind of like just going to work, just kind of frustrated. And like every single morning, like I would think to myself, like, how can I change? Like, how can I create that life that I really, really wanted? Even after like spending all this time and money getting these degrees, like, what do I do now? And at that time, I had a roommate, my fraternity brother, Taylor. He had just quit his job. It was like a government job, and he was making about $50,000 a year. And at that time, a $50,000 job sounded amazing, but he quit his job to start like a construction business. And that inspired me because I was like, damn, bro, like you really just quit? Like, he's like, yeah, man, I got this entrepreneurial dream. I'm gonna make it happen. And he's like, listen, man, you should read some books. Like, and he suggested a book called Success Principles to me by Jack Canfield. And I hated books at that time. Like,
that book is
bro,
monster.
That book changed my life.
Wow.
And that's probably the first personal development book that I ever read. And it's funny because I said I hated books, but because I was such in a place of dissatisfaction that I was just like so open-minded to anything that can possibly just help me change my life, right? Yeah. And I felt like when I was reading that book, like I felt like Jack was my homie. I felt like Jack was talking to me. Yeah. And I was so coachable to everything that he said in that book. Like, he was talking about doing some things that I've never done before. Cause he was like, listen, man, if you want to, live life on your terms, be financially free, actually like have ownership of like your future, your destiny. He's like, listen, you're going to have to, grow your mindset and like get out your comfort zone. He was like, if you want to build a business, you want to get more confident in you and your brand. So he was like, you got to get better at public speaking. At that time, naturally an introvert, public speaking is probably my biggest fear. Yeah. And he recommended going to something called Toastmasters. Yep. And I remember in college hearing about Toastmasters, and I was like, all right, what's that about? Oh yeah, public speaking. I used to avoid Toastmasters like with all costs, right? But when Jack said it, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this Toastmasters thing. And he was like, yo, when you do Toastmasters, actually go all in, like actually participate. And I did that, and it was terrifying, but that helped me so much. It helped me build my confidence. It helped me become more bold and actually helped me cultivate my voice in a way where I was able to, just kind of share more of me and help other people, right? He said to do like, take meditation classes. Yeah. And I didn't do that, right? But he was like, listen, you want to get more control over your thoughts and your emotions. So I went to this place called the Baltimore Shambhala, and I learned how to meditate, right? And like all these different things. He's like, become very intentional about your goals, create, not just writing down your goals, but have specific dates, be intentional, right? Like to a T. And it was like, I was following everything. So I was like, man, I want to quit my job. So I figured out how much money a month do I need to quit my job? I wrote that down. What date do I want to quit my job by? Okay, well, what do I need to, just bury all these student loan debts to pay that off? I became very intentional. I had this journal of dates and just step by step. And I started starting these different businesses. And, one thing that Jack said that really, really changed the game for me, he was like, create a mastermind group. And what that meant was find some like-minded friends that had similar goals and values meet up and talk about different business ideas.
Yeah.
And what I do, I found, a few of my friends that kind of were complaining about their jobs like me.
Yeah.
And we literally meet up once a week to talk about different ways how we can quit. Right. And we would bring them all these different business ideas. And like one idea was like a hookah shop. Right. And for a minute, we used to think about how we could really get a hookah shop popping. Right. Just all these different crazy ideas. But one of my friends, he talked about wholesaling real estate. And I was like, what's that? He was like, well, it's the ability to flip property and you don't have to, have a lot of money. And I'm like, well, I don't have a lot of money and that sounds good. And like, I went back home and I like went on this crazy binge on like researching what wholesaling real estate was. And like by the next meeting, I was like, listen, y'all, we're creating this wholesaling real estate company. Like I was so excited. Yeah. And we got the LLC, and we started like, sending mailers and marketing to like, motivated sellers and things like that. And I want to say that was like around March, but by June, we still didn't do a deal, but I had this crazy idea that I was going to quit my job. Mm. And I literally wrote a letter to the supervisor saying August 2nd, 2013 is my last day at Department of Social Services. And I did not have any type of financial success in that business or in any other ideas. But in my mind, and I would never recommend anybody do this, to be honest with you. Like the safe way, the stress-free way is really to start a business, actually build some cash flow, have some success, actually have it make more money than what your job is paying you, right? And actually have some savings. But I was so sold out on this entrepreneurship thing, right? That I was like, I was going to make it work. Yeah. And now,
wait, before you go there though, just for those who are watching, he's not recommending to do that because he don't want to take the brunt if you do it and it don't work. But what I'm going to say is if you are pulled, like he was pulled, do it, right? Because the truth of the matter is that we have a similar story where I jumped out. I took a leap of faith as well. And it was scary and I hit my head, but I would do it again because it wasn't me that told me to take the leap of faith. There was something, right? God, family, entrepreneur, right? I am greatness on display. If you know, you know. We made it in the image and likeness of Most High God. So if God tell us to do it, right? And so not me, not Kamoy. If you're pulled and you are tapped in with your higher power, and that voice tell you to do it, do not second guess that that voice. Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
That's real talk, man, because, if God forbid anything, if times get rough or if things don't work out in the way that you want to, you're not going to give up or you're not going to be so quick to stray away because, again, you're tapped into a higher just thought process, right? But yeah, man, like, June came, we dropped off the note or whatever. And like, as time progressed, it was like we were getting closer to that August date. Mm-hmm. And, I'm ambitiously just marketing and just like doing everything that I can. And then, beginning August comes and it's time to quit, right? Because I've already gave them the letter. There wasn't no turning back. Yeah. And I remember burn the ship, man. I burned the ship. And I remember like, packing up my box and my supervisor asking me, so what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I'm being an entrepreneur. I got these real estate business ideas and stuff like that. She was like, okay. She's all right. Good luck. Right. But as I'm packing up my box, right, I'll never forget, I had a couple coworkers come up to my cubicle, right, and they'll say like, Martin, congratulations. That's what everybody called me back there, Martin, right? Congratulations. I'm not sure really what you're going to do, but, I just wish you nothing but the best. But one lady, she was like, Martin, I'm so proud of you because you're actually leaving here to go out here and do what you want. Yeah. I said to myself that I was going to quit this job 10 years ago, but I just got stuck here. Yeah. And I had all these goals and all these aspirations. And I just kind of felt like, I feel like it's too late. Yeah. Right. And of course I told him it's never too late. You know what I'm saying? But the thing was, I felt a lot of fear, uncertainty. But when she told me that, it gave me peace because I was like, so when I leave out these doors, I don't know what's going to happen 100%. Yeah. But what I do know is for certain that I'm making the right decision.
100%. Yeah.
you know, and then from there, man, I was just diligently working. I got into network marketing like the day after. Had a friend just like, you know, really, you got to get into this business. And I was so open-minded.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I had started a real estate company with like 4 or 5 other people. By the time like end of August came, everybody had like walked away from it because we didn't do no deals.
Yeah.
And I want to say I got my first deal that September. And it turned out to be like a $5,500 wholesale deal.
Why you work so hard? Cause I'm trying to get some money, punk. Man, why you keep calling these people? Cause I'm trying to get what I deserve.
If you haven't wrote down your goals, if you never envision it, it will never happen. So if you haven't wrote down your goals, you need to manifest that and speak it to existence, because the Bible says, speak those things that are not as though they are.
Everything that you've ever wanted, everything that you've ever desired, any dream, any aspiration, all of it is now going to take shape.
Knew the importance of keeping your job, because your job is your first business partner.
Wall Street looks like us now. It's a battle cry. Wall Street looks like us now. It's the equalizer.
If you can start training your brain to start thinking about solutions to problems and challenges rather than letting them slow you down, you are going to dominate this life.
And when I learned that selling is not about convincing people to do something they don't want to do, selling is about empowering people and freeing people from their inhibitions so that they can do something they already desire to do.
I cried too much to settle. I prayed too long to settle. I fought through too much to settle. I didn't make it through COVID to settle. I'm ready to step into everything that God's got for me.
Now, I didn't necessarily get rich, right, off 5,500, but I gotta tell you, that 5,500 meant the world to me, because it was like, number one, I had just quit my job,
Right.
and these bills, it's like bills come faster when you don't have a job.
Right. Yeah.
But that showed me like proof, like, wow,
Yeah.
I can actually go out here and make it happen.
Yep.
And
And you weren't making $5,500 a month.
Exactly.
At your job. So, yeah.
Exactly. I wasn't making that at the job.
Mhm.
So from there, man, and then also from reading that book, Success Principles, it led me to read more books. And I understood the power of growing your mindset, because I was like, man, if one book gave me all this inspiration, all these tools, and just the ability to push me in a better direction, what would happen if I read more books? And I read these books, they talk about go to seminars and conferences. I was like, well, let me start going to these seminars and conferences. And it was like, I'll go from event to event, read book after book, watch amazing podcasts like yours. And it's like, every time I would tap into this information, I would feel myself growing to another level.
Yeah.
And I became like addicted to like personal development and growth. And it's like, as I was building these businesses, I would build myself. And it was like a journey, right? And it's like, again, I'd become intentional about my goals, and I just kept going. I kept going. And then even within the network marketing field, man, like that industry really changed my life, even though I'm not actively in it, but I had a good 6-year run. I built an organization of like 800 plus people, just built teams, not even just the United States, but even other countries. And it helped me become more of a leader. Yeah. It helped me cultivate my voice more. Yeah. And it just kind of just helped me think bigger. Yeah. Right. Because as I was building in that field, man, I would meet so many like amazing entrepreneurs, and I would learn about the possibility of like hitting higher levels, right? I remember when I went to a network marketing event, I met somebody making $50,000 a month, shortly after I quit my job. And it's like seeing and hearing somebody make $50,000 a month at that point in my life was life altering. Yeah. Cause it was like, I didn't even think people that look like us can even make that type of money. Yeah. And I always tell people, man, like exposure is everything.
Everything, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that's why you got to get around the room. You got to listen to these stories, right? Because once you understand what's possible, you're a lot more inclined to make it happen for yourself if that's what you want. Yeah. But when I started hearing about these stories, I was like, I want that. Yeah. Like it's like once the mind stretches, it can't go back. And it was like, what? Yeah. So it's like. And that it wasn't gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen overnight. Yeah. And to be honest with you, nobody in my family had ever made that type of money. Yeah. But I was like, if it can happen for them, it can happen for me.
Yeah.
Right. So I just kept going to events, kept growing myself, kept building my business. And then eventually, I want to say like around 2017, I was experiencing some business challenges, outside myself, right? That was outside my control.
Yeah.
And I had built up such a great just residual income, and I was traveling, I had freedom, right? Like within that network marketing company, I had car bonus, so I had a company pay for Maserati, right? Like, and things were great, right? And I gotta tell you guys this, right? If you decide to really become an entrepreneur, business owner, whatever you want to call it, you have to understand that it's not gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be a perfect journey. I know online it may look perfect, right? Glitz and glam, a lot of money, cars, jets, and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's you got to build, right? And you got to learn, you got to grow, and you may go through some failures or ups and some downs.
You will go to.
Right? And again, it's like you have to have the understanding that you can make it happen. I don't care what it is, you can always make it through. Yeah. So I was experiencing some challenges at that time, and I didn't know why it was happening because I never gave up. I was working hard. I was always growing myself. I was always doing the right things. But again, challenges within the business that had nothing to do with me. And because of that, I had to kind of separate myself. But it was because I had put so much time to building a particular business. I was like, man, what am I going to do now? And I had a good friend that was in the Airbnb space. And funny thing was, I was moving into a new apartment. That was kind of like a level up for me. And it's crazy because it's like I'm moving into a better apartment and level up in my life, but I'm having these business challenges.
Yeah.
But what my friend does, she ends up getting an apartment inside that building for her Airbnb business. And at first it didn't really click.
Yeah.
But after a few months of seeing the amount of cash flow that my friend was making, I was like, hold up now. I saw how simple it was for you to get this property.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing the amount of money that you're making. And I was like, okay, I need something, right? Let me look into this thing, right? And understand this, y'all, like life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. 100%, yeah. So boom, I was experiencing some challenges, but because I was so open-minded, I saw my friend do something with an Airbnb. Okay, it was like timing. So I was like, okay, let me check this out. And I did do my research because my friend was fairly new. So I was like, I would ask her questions, but I had to still do my own like research, end up like buying a course and stuff like that. And I was just educating myself, man. And I was a student, I was figuring it out. And I ended up getting my first property. And I'll never forget that first notification of getting that booking. And I was like, oh, okay, like it's a real thing. Like it's actually simple. And from there, I was like, okay, let me get another one. Yeah. Right. And then I got another one.
And did you buy the properties?
Nope.
Okay.
Just literally renting apartments and condos. Now I gotta tell you, in the very beginning, I was making great income. Yeah. But I was doing some things not so the right way.
Yeah.
And here's what I mean. When it comes to this whole rental arbitrage thing, right? What does that mean? The opportunity of acquiring a property that's more so designed for a long-term rental, right? We rent that property out, we'll furnish it, make it look good, and we'll put it on a platform like Airbnb or VRBO. All these, there's different short-term rental websites. Yeah. There's a right way to do this business, and there's a wrong way to do this business. And what I mean that is, I did both sides. I did wrong and right, right? So I'm not pointing fingers when I say what I'm about to say. You can get permission and consent from landlords and profit managers, or you can go out here in front like you're going to live in the property and then turn around and put it on Airbnb. I did both.
Yeah, yeah.
But the reason why now I get permission is because when I used to just not get permission, I ended up getting kicked out of places. And it's like I'm hiding. Yeah. I'm hiding my business, right? And the thing is, every single morning I'm hoping I don't get caught. Yeah. And you don't want to run your business like this, right? And I'm telling you this just out of experience.
Right.
But it's unfortunate, right? And I'm not going to say no names, but there are people out here teaching people to do it that way. Yeah. To not get permission. Yeah. And the reason why I can never do that is because I know what I went through, right? Like looking at my emails, hoping a profit manager, right, doesn't email me and stuff like that. So I just caught your Airbnb guest. So once I was going through those challenges and I thought to myself, well, let me actually get permission. Let me actually cultivate the right words to these property managers, to these landlords, so that way they'll actually want to work with me. They'll actually want me to acquire these properties, and they'll know that I'm doing a business. They'll know that I'm utilizing for, Airbnbs and other vacation rental websites. So that way there's transparency and we're building a relationship. And the reason why that's so important is, let's just say you own an apartment building. I run the play, I do my whole script. You allow me to get one apartment inside that apartment building. I handle business well. Every time somebody moves out, you're going to be more inclined to give me more units because you understand what I'm doing. I'm taking great care of the property. I'm getting professional cleaners to clean the property. Whenever they do inspections in the building and they look at my units, they always say, this is the best unit in the building. Why? Because I'm running a business. Most people, they live there personally. They're not getting it professionally cleaned. No, we're maintaining, we're keeping the place in for sale condition 365 days out the year. So the thing is, we're a value, we're an asset to landlords and property managers when you understand the dynamics of the business. But when you don't get permission, it's like they don't know what you're doing. So why would they give you multiple units? Why do you need more than one? You live in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just so important, man. Like, and that's why I always tell people, like, I get people that reach out to me all the time about like, how do I start? Like, they'll just ask me these questions. I'll be like, educate yourself. Right. So that way you don't have to go through those same just hiccups and hurdles. So
and let's unpack that a little bit, right? Because like, a couple of things that I've heard, which I appreciate your story, is number one, you took a leap of faith, right? You made a decision. You wrote it down, which is very important that everybody does. You wrote it down, you set a deadline, and even not having it all figured out, you said, all right, I trust you, God, higher power, universe, whatever you subscribe to, I trust. And so I'm gonna take the leap. You were rewarded for, taking that leap the first month, right? So August, you made the leap. In September, you got rewarded for taking the leap, which is really a short amount of time when we think about it. Now,
and it feels short, though.
Right? Absolutely, it doesn't feel short, right? And then now you get rewarded again because coincidence or being in the right place, right time, energetic alignment is what I call it. You were aligned with someone that puts you in a business that allows you to, first of all, gives you an excellent book. Anybody who you should read Success Principles. In fact, Success Principles has helped me live in abundance, right? Because there was a place where he tells you go to a store and buy a $90 shirt. Right? He tells you like, a lot of times people scoff at buying expensive things, but go and feel what that, like go and see what that feels like, right? And I remember the first luxury item I bought wasn't even for me, it was for my wife. I was like, yo, I'm gonna go in a Louis Vuitton store and I'm gonna drop a bag on a bag, right? I had it, but in my mind, I'm like, yo, I'm not going to spend all this money on a bag, but I did it. Best experience ever. Waited online. They greeted me by name. Like the experience is different. If you ever did anything luxury, you like, yo. And I got that from Jack Canfield's book. And it allowed me to live in abundance because once you have access to the finer things in life, right? Finer experiences, why would you mentally want to go back? Now, all I do is figure out how can I keep having those experiences, 100%. Right? And so now you read, like alignment gets you to read this book. You read the book and it's now opening up your mind so much so that you're open to try different opportunities. You get into network marketing. Network marketing does very well for you, right? You build a team, 800 people, you get in cars. So now you've access to a certain level of living. And then something, you're leveling up. And at the time of your level up, right? Energetic alignment, though. That's why you will go through bumps because it's darkest before the dawn. And so as you're leveling up, it's no coincidence that you feel something because the network marketing served this purpose. and then now you move into a building that you just so happen a friend moves into the same building and does Airbnb, right?
Yeah.
And so I just want to unpack that for everybody because I want people to understand, number one, that as you are walking in purpose, right? Meaning that you don't have to see, you know, what Martin Luther King said, you don't have to see the whole staircase. You just got to take the step forward. So as you're walking in your purpose, all these coincidences, and I'm being facetious as I'm saying that, but all these coincidences that are happening, which is just energetic alignment, which is a reward for your obedience, right? Are allowing you to, be guided into the next step, right? And so now fast forward me to what type of success have you had from an Airbnb perspective, right? So number one, you're doing rent arbitrage, which means that you're pulling your credit a little bit for, to make sure you qualify to rent the property, if you will. But you don't have to put a lot of money down, right? So like there's usually 1 month rent, 1 month security, right? Deposit. And so for somebody who, is like, man, I want some cash flow coming in, if you bought a property, now you on the hook for that property.
20% down.
20% down, 30-year mortgage, whatever the case may be. Leases are usually year to year. And so now you're able to quickly create cash flow for yourself. So take me to the highlight of what this business, what this obedience has afforded Kamoy Martin.
Yeah, for sure. So, as I'm growing the business one by one, of course I'm having to understand, okay, I no longer want to, not do this without getting permission. So I want to get permission so that way I can actually legally run this business. What kind of changed things for me too, because as I was starting the business, I was doing everything myself, right? Like I was cleaning the property myself. Like any type of issues were going on, I was running to the property. Like I was a cleaner, I was a handyman, I was all these things above, right? And what I had to find out was, true entrepreneurs and true business owners, they work on their business, not in their business.
Oh, bars. Say that one more time. Look in the camera. Tell the people in the back who ain't hear you.
Listen, true entrepreneurs and business owners, they work on their business, not in their business. So I had to subscribe to the mindset of delegating and outsourcing. Because again, you already know, bro, like we're Caribbean, right? We're so used to working hard, doing everything for ourselves. And again, if you truly want freedom, if you truly want to scale and grow, you're going to have to find other people to do certain tasks, right? And the thing is, sometimes we feel like, well, they're not going to do it as good as I am. And guess what? They're probably not. But if you want to grow, you're going to have to let go.
Oh, that's
right?
another bar. If you want to grow, you got to let go.
It's a fact, right? Yeah. So boom, when I started, hiring cleaners to clean the properties and, whenever there was any issues, damages, any maintenance issues, hired somebody to do that, right? Even hired people to run my community. I don't even talk to guests anymore, right? Like, so I got people that talk to guests for me 24/7, 365. So I found people to literally fulfill every role within the business. So now I'm able to scale up, get more properties, and I can literally travel the world whenever I want. I can literally book a one-way flight, and I don't have to worry about coming back at a specific
that's
day or
big
time,
money talk though.
right? But and the thing is, it's like it's not that hard, right? But the thing is, but it's really mental too. Like it's finances, but it's really mental, right? It's really like passive income isn't just cliche,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like it's really a thought process that you want to systemize things. If you create the right system, your income can be passive, and you can have time and financial freedom. So man, and I gotta tell you, that's probably one of the most best parts for me when it comes to this business is because, and even when it comes to launching a new unit, I've literally been out the country and I've launched an Airbnb because I have my handyman. I'll literally ship things, order all the things online and I'll ship it to my handyman. He'll bring it to the spot, furnish it. And it's like, all right, photographer, boom. Photographer goes, get the pictures, send it to my assistants. They upload the pictures and it's like, all right, turn on the listing, bookings. And it's like, I can do all this from out the country. Right? So it's like, I love it, man.
Yes, sir. And so how many units do you have currently now?
Currently 15.
15. And then what would you say has been sort of like the highlight of your success doing Airbnbs?
Yeah. Well, number one, really tapping into the whole automation and systemizing it. So that way, I can grow and it doesn't have to feel like I'm doing everything, right? Because for a lot of people, in their mind, the reason why they're not growing, whether it's their Airbnb business or just the business in general, is because they feel like the more they grow or the more units they get, the more they have to do.
Yeah.
No, it's just have a team.
Yeah.
Right.
And then so, right now somebody's watching, right, who is in that space where a lot of our insiders work 9 to 5. They want to start a business. They don't know how to start a business or whatever the case may be. What is your advice to them, right? Because majority of the time, people are not starting the business because one, they might not have the time. Number two, they may not necessarily have the capital, right, to start whatever business they want. What would your advice, be to that person?
Yo, I would say the two most important things is information and belief, right? That's literally two things that hold people back. If you just say, hey, listen, I'm going to constantly educate myself and I'm going to get the right information and I'm going to put myself in the right environment to grow my belief system. I got to tell you, the information, right? It's probably easy to read or to listen to a podcast or go to a seminar and take notes and read. I mean, people are used to gathering information. We've been going to school for years, right? People can cram for a test, right? Or whatever, study for a particular course. But the thing is, if the belief ain't right, nothing's going to be right. And I think belief is probably one of the most underrated things of our times. The reason why people achieve the level of success that they have or don't have is because of belief. And the thing is, so many people, they try to do everything themselves, or they try to literally run their whole life based on their own belief. I can't Kamoy can't rely on Kamoy's belief. I need to subscribe to a higher level belief, whether that's God, finding mentors, coaches. I constantly need to get around people that are thinking bigger than me and that are believing bigger than me. And the thing is, let's just say you're making, $100,000 a year, right? The reason why you're not making, $250,000 a year yet is because you're not believing. And if you want to be able to make $250,000 a year, get around somebody that's doing that, if not greater. Because the thing is, you can borrow somebody's belief. And again, the number is relative. It could be 250 grand a year. It could be 250 grand a month. It could be $1 million a year. It could be $1 million a month. It doesn't matter. Whatever goal that is that you want to achieve, you need to get around people that are already achieving that, if not greater. Because eventually it's going to become normal. Even though you don't have it, you're going to connect. I could shake your hand. You're making a lot of bread. It's if I'm talking to you on a consistent basis and I know that you're making this high level of income, I'm like, you know what? Ash Cash, he's a smart guy, but he's not that much smarter than me. You know what I'm saying? You're doing your thing, but it's we're humans. 100%. You pump blood just like me.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? We come from similar backgrounds. So it's you need to get around people as much as you can so that way you can get that energy, you get that belief, and just understand things are normal. Right? Because a lot of times people are really successful and they don't even understand why they're successful. But it's just because they just so happen to be in a particular environment that gave them the belief to achieve certain results. There are some people that they know why they're successful because they just did not have the belief, but they were intentional about growing their belief system. You know what I'm saying?
And I love that you said that because I pay for mentors all the time, and that's honestly. I'm getting information from them, but really what I'm doing is borrowing their belief system. Right? I find mentors who have done what I want to do or are doing what I want, what I desire to do. And I'm around them so much that, I might look at them when I first met them, they were on this pedestal for me, right? And the more the more I'm around them, not that they're coming down to my level, I'm actually going up to their level, right? The more and more I'm around them, the more and more I believe until we get to that space, to your point, right? I'm special, but I'm not special, right? The only thing that makes somebody special is their belief. Right? The more successful you are, the stronger your belief in yourself, right? And then I'm kind of borrowing that. And so, from that perspective, people, should borrow beliefs, right?
Yeah.
Like find, and that's the other thing too. A lot of times, people are afraid to borrow belief systems because of their ego, right? Which Wayne Dyer says ego is edging God out, right?
Yeah.
If somebody has a belief system and that belief, my belief system is that abundance is your birthright.
Yeah.
I didn't make that up. It's in every scripture. It's in the Bible. It's in the Quran. The Secret says it, right? So whatever you subscribe to, it tells you that abundance is your birthright. And so if that's my belief system and I'm subscribed to that belief system, well, if I'm watching somebody who's living in abundance, I'm saying, okay, this person is living in abundance.
Yeah.
That means they're tapped in closer to their God self. And
Yes,
so
sir.
let me see how they're operating so I can get closer to my God self,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But a lot of times people have ego, right? God is putting somebody in your face,
Yeah.
not for you to be jealous, right? Thou shalt not covet.
Yeah.
Not for you to look at somebody else and wish it was yours. It's to demonstrate that you can have anything, right?
Yeah.
And so, but people are afraid to collaborate. They're afraid to connect because their ego is like, nah, I'm gonna try to figure this thing out
Yeah.
that this person already figured out,
Yeah.
and you just gotta be next to them, right? And so, if you could do it all over again, right? Would you choose Airbnb again? Like if you had the opportunity to do anything, in your life,
Yeah.
would you choose Airbnb again?
Yeah, 100%, man, because, number one, it's not that complex, right?
Yeah.
And then also too, because it's not complex, it's really simple it's simple, but again, you have to educate yourself to understand the little inner workings. But it's simple enough to where as though you don't have to have, a lot of business experience.
Yeah.
You don't got to get a degree, right? You don't have to have a lot of capital.
Yeah.
And it's pretty simple to grow as well. Like I've had students, right, literally get their first property in less than 1 week, right?
Yeah.
With having very little to no business experience.
Yeah.
But it's because they subscribe to the right information and they execute it. Because I don't want to just say, boom, just because they got information.
Right.
It's not a lottery ticket,
Right.
but they subscribe to the information, executed, boom, able to get their first property in less than 1 week.
Yeah.
Able to start creating cash flow for their family and their kids.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you systemize and automate it, it could be passive.
Yeah.
Right. My thing is like, once you find a way to make money in your sleep, you don't want to making money other ways is cool.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like sleep money.
Mailbox money is the best money.
My mentor told me years ago, he said, come on, you need to find a way to make money in your sleep or you're going to work until you die.
Oh, bars. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's all I need to hear.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Like what? I don't want to work until I die.
Right.
I see way too many people do that.
Right.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
So and so you mentioned your students. So talk a little bit about your program, right? Because one of the things that you've been able to do is really you've been blessed.
Yeah.
And so you started a program that is also blessing others, right? And I'll preface this way, right? Because I know that a lot of, you actually mentioned it too, that I know a lot of courses and programs and things of that nature get a bad rap now because during the pandemic, there were a lot of bad actors who just saw an opportunity to, I'll say it, take advantage of people and we're just taking people's money, but we're not delivering on what they said these people would get from their program.
Yeah.
But you have a program that, like you mentioned, one of your students that they have success and you have receipts. Like I see it all the time where you're posting actual videos of your students saying, hey, I just closed on my first Airbnb and I just did this and I just did that. Talk a little bit about your program and the benefit of people joining your program.
For sure. And here's what I'll tell you guys. To be honest with you, I never had the desire to be a course creator or create programs and stuff like that. To be honest, I just really didn't, right? Like I was enjoying building my business and making money and traveling. Yeah. But I had a friend, also fraternity brother, reach out to me. He's like, man, we've talked about this before, but can you just really teach me this business? And before he said that to me, I've had people DM me like, hey, teach me. And I'd be like, all right, cool. I didn't really, want to get into that space. Not that I didn't want to help people. I just didn't have a desire to, create a course. I don't know. Yeah. But he was so adamant. It was like 11 o'clock at night and I'm like putting together an Airbnb. And he's like, listen, bro, I really need you to teach me this, man. Like, I don't want any time to go on and I don't learn this.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's funny because, and when he said that, I was like, I thought about creating like a program, bro, but it's like, I don't know. But because you, man, like, I don't know, maybe I'll do it. He's like, listen, I need you to.
Yeah, yeah.
So he kind of lit that fire under me. And it was like, from that conversation, I want to say like a couple of weeks later, I had like created a program. And yeah, man, and the goal behind this program was literally to just all the questions that people ask me my DMs and how, even for the sake of my friend, I want to kind of lay out the step by step blueprint from taking you from point A to point Z. If you have no business experience, if you have business experience, if you've done this before at a small level, or if you've never done this before, I want to really teach you how exactly to go about doing this, how to start it, how to scale it, how to research and find the right places, because you got to understand where to find the right properties, right? You also want to understand where can you find cleaners? Where can you find a handyman? How can you build a team, right? How can you make your listing attractive so that way it's constantly getting booked up and creating cash flow, right? Just all the little small pieces that you could put together and build yourself a business so that way you can create passive income.
Yeah. No, love that. And so Limitless, right? Limitless B&B Masterclass is the course. And so let's switch gears a little bit. With all of the success that you've had, you dress good, got nice watches.
Thanks,
you know what I'm saying? I seen the delivery of the Lambo and things of that nature. What would you say have been, and you travel good too, right? What would you say is the most extravagant thing you've done with money so far?
The most extravagant thing? I would have to say the Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say getting my Lamborghini truck.
Yeah. And then what would you say is the most impactful thing you've done with money?
The most impactful thing that I've done with money. I have this thing where I do like a rent giveaway, and I'll like I'll pay people's rent. I'll say that's probably the most impactful thing, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
And what made you do that? Like, what made you want to pay people's rent?
I'm gonna be very transparent with you. So like, I wasn't always the most giving person, and maybe it's because I come from just an immigrant household or a third world country, and we weren't born rich. So like, as we earned money, it was like we wanted to keep money, we wanted to hoard it, because it's like we don't know if it's gonna like disappear, right? So and I wish I could say that I was like the top tither of the year when it came to church, right? But I just wasn't. I read this book called Seed Money, right? And I learned about this book from Bob Proctor. And that book changed my life. That book changed my whole perspective when it came to money. And when I really understood and learned the power of giving, and how not only does it really bless people, but what it does for you as a person.
Absolutely, yeah.
I just became a lot more free and willing to give money.
Yeah.
100%. And that's honestly what really compelled me to do that.
Yeah.
And it's also compelled me just to be more giving in general.
Yeah. No, I love that. And so right now, Kamoy, is living the life, is blessed in his life, is also blessing others, helping others, allowing others to create, financial freedom for themselves and their family. If Kamoy could go back to his 18-year-old self, what advice is today Kamoy giving 18-year-old Kamoy?
Man, just believe faster. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I used to be that person. I was just like, I knew that I had talents, or I knew that I had something inside me that can be of value to this world. But I feel like for a lot of people, they're just wondering like, how much success can they really create, right? Like, especially if you weren't like brought up in a very, not this, like my parents were well off, right? So like they were good, they provided for us. But it's like when you're like watching TV and you're seeing people in the NBA, NFL, or like that's artists, you tend to have this certain perspective of success. Yeah. And when you feel like maybe you're not in that household of that high level of success, you kind of wonder, well, how much success can I create, because I came from just kind of like, I guess an average level of success.
Yeah.
And what I'll tell that 18-year-old Kamoy is, listen, you can literally create as much success as you want. You can make as much money as you want. You can impact as many people as you want, even though you're an introvert and like you're not, super confident when it comes to speaking and stuff like that. Like all that can change. Like you can literally improve and expand upon anything that you feel like you're lacking.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what I'll tell him, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like you don't have to be like, you can like, it doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
Like at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't, bank account wise, like who you are, you can literally develop and become whoever it is that you want, but you have to be intentional.
Yeah.
You got to do that inner work.
Yeah. I love that, because I think that whether it's a young person watching right now, or even if there's an older person watching right now, I think a lot of us get stuck in our history.
Yeah.
Instead of our now, right? And well, why? Not even the future, right? Because both are figments of our imagination.
Yeah.
Right. Your history is gone. There's nothing that you could do to bring that back. And even your future is something that you're making up. So you don't even know what your future is going to look like. And so a lot of us get stuck, right? We're stuck on the history. We're stuck on the future. But, I love that you said you could reinvent yourself, right? Because the reinvention doesn't happen in the past, nor does it happen in the future. The reinvention happens now, right? Like at this moment that you're hearing our voices, you can make a decision like right now and say, you know what? My life is going to be better. You know what? I'm going to stop eating bad, right? Oh, you know what? I'm going to stop drinking. Oh, you know what? I'm going to stop watching whatever, negative things. I'm going to start, looking at more positive things. I'm going to read more. I'm going to, take action towards my business. Like those are now decisions. Those aren't decisions that you make in the future. So I love that you said, that's what you would do. All right. So we're going to go to our lightning round. And in our lightning round, what we do is we take bank terms. Because we're literally inside the vault.
Literally.
And we're going to take bank terms and we're going to flip them, right? And so the first term we're going to use is deposit slip. A deposit slip, you walk into a bank, you fill out the slip, your form, and you say, hey, I want to make this deposit, and you make the deposit into the bank. But for us, inside the vault, a deposit slip is a money mistake, a slip up, right? What would you say has been the biggest deposit slip that you've made in your journey so far?
Probably not reinvesting into my business faster. The thing is, as you start making money and you start building a business, it's like, especially when you start getting like large sums of money faster than you would with a job, you tend to get excited and want to splurge it. Because it's like, you may experience getting more money than you've ever experienced in your life. And you're like, damn, well, if I could do this, I could keep doing it.
Right.
And you're like, let me go to Louis.
Right.
I earned this, right? You want to reward yourself. But the thing is, man, it's like, that's good. And guess what? You should reward yourself, right? But to a certain capacity.
Yeah.
If you want to grow faster, like it's best to like, when you start getting those wins, to really reinvest in your business. Because the faster you do that, the faster you grow, and the faster you'll be able to really, really, really reward yourself. So that's definitely something that I, if I could change anything, reinvest faster,
All right, perfect. Second term is charge off, right? A charge off, you borrow money from the bank. You don't pay the bank back. The bank is going to make the attempts to get the money back. But at some point, they can be like, you know what? I'm washing my hands. I'm going to charge this debt off. But for us here inside the vault, we want to know what type of people or mindsets did you have to charge off during your journey?
Ooh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I would say, so for me, right? I know where I'm at in my life. At that point in my time, at that point in my life, I wasn't making the type of money that I wanted. I understood that I want to change everything. I want to change my mindset. I want to change my habits. I want to make more money. I want to get out of debt. I want to really start, living the life that I wanted. But if I'm around nothing but people that are always talking about just partying and just turning up and gossip and all these different things, low vibrational conversation. But I want change and I want to get to this destination. I had to charge off some people that weren't in alignment with where I wanted to go. You know what I'm saying? Because if I didn't, I was going to be a victim of staying in the same place. So it's like,
Yeah, that's heavy talk, man. I hope y'all catching a lot of this stuff because when you talk about vibration, that is like life is energy.
Yeah.
And you will only attract the energy that you allow around yourself, right?
Facts.
You will only attract at the level of vibration that you allow yourself to be around, right? Which is why, I talk on the show a lot about masterminds, right? If you read so masterminds aren't a new thing. If you read Think and Grow Rich, that was written, 1929, right? Napoleon Hill talks about the power of the mastermind. And so for those here listening, do not think that, oh my God, they keep saying mastermind, 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 as if, it's this new thing that we just made up. No, it's been around. People have done it. And it is so powerful because if you want to be intentional about the vibration that you're around, sometimes you pay for it.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you say, you know what? I want to be around a certain level of energy, and so I'm going to pay to be around this energy because low vibration is free. Low vibration is free.
Come on.
Right? Like like we in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Atlanta has a homelessness problem.
Yeah.
And so when I'm walking in the street, I'm walking by the guy who's cursing. I ain't had to pay for that.
Yeah.
Right? And so we're occupying the same space because we're in a free space.
Yeah.
But if I'm in a space that I pay for, the homeless guy's not there, the guy with mental health issues is not there, the negative Nancy is not there. Like it actually, being in a space where you're paying to be around high vibration actually protects you from being in that low vibration. So I just wanted to say that. You know what I mean?
It's real talk.
Last but not least, ATM, right? ATM, you go to the bank, you put your card in, you take money out of the bank, right, with your ATM card. You've been giving us a lot of gems. We've been taking a lot of positive information from you, but we want more, right? Our insiders want more. And so for us, ATM is another teachable moment. If you could look in that camera and give our insiders one more gem, one more jewel, another teachable moment that's going to help their life get to that next level.
Yeah, man. You got to make a decision. You got to make a decision. And when I say you got to make a decision, think about the word decide, right? Sounds like pesticide, genocide, kind of has that same front word, "ide," right? So that stands for killing off something. When you decide, you kill off any other opportunity but not to make that thing happen. You need to decide that you're going to win. You need to decide that you're going to build that business. You need to decide that you're going to become financially free. You need to decide that you're going to take ownership of your destiny. You need to decide that you're going to create that generational wealth for you and your family. Because guess what? It's not going to be easy. And just because it may feel good when you do it, it may not feel good next week, next month, and next year as you're going through the process. And when you decide, nothing gets in your way. You need to decide to get in the room, right? Like we've been talking about throughout this whole entire podcast, right? It's like, listen, you can have everything that you want. You can have all the money that you want. You can create the life that you want. But it's like, when are you going to really decide that you're number one, you're already that person? Because you have to believe that you're that person before you even become that person, right? But you got to decide on doing the daily and the weekly and the monthly and the yearly activities in order to make that happen, right? Two things you need to absolutely make a decision on. Number one, if you're building a business, you need to decide that you're going to do the IGAs, the income generating activities, every single day. So many people, they build a business and they get so caught up on let me figure out a name for my LLC. Let me figure out the colors for my brand or my logo. And that stuff is cool. It's important. But if you're not doing the main things that make your business money every single day, what are we doing? You're not building. Your business won't grow. You need to figure out what those income generating activities for your business is. And you need to do that every single day and decide and commit to do that every single day, right? And then you need to decide on doing the mental, right, changing activities. Like, what are those things that are literally going to change your mindset, right? And you need to do those things, I would encourage, every single day. Listen to my man Ash Cash podcast every single day. Going to the conferences, going to the seminars, right? As much as you can. Don't just go to one event. You get hype. 1 week, 1 month, you're like, man, nothing happened, right? It may not be just one event. You know what I'm saying? It took me a lot of years to be broke, right? So it wasn't going to change just because I went to one event, right? So it's like I had to constantly show up, constantly get into the rooms, finding a mentor, finding a coach. We don't just say this because, maybe just because I offer mentorship or a coach or a coaching program because I want your money. Listen, I want this to be very clear. No one has to get my mentorship or any of my programs or courses. Right. I'm only preaching stuff that I personally do.
Yep, 100%.
Right? So the thing is, you got to make a decision to grow your mindset, man, and do those action steps that's going to actually make you money and build a business.
Yeah, 100%. So a couple of things, right? If your coach don't have a coach, they don't deserve to be your coach.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And if your coach needs your coaching in order to live their life, then don't hire them.
Facts.
Right? Because whether I offer mentorship or not, I'm Gucci flip-flops.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
We know the information.
Exactly. We know the information and we don't have to give none of it and we still good. Family good. 401ks good, retirement accounts good,
sure.
Children, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you for that. All right, y'all, look, Kamoy Martin, definitely check out his program. If it aligns with you, right? You don't have to do it. If it aligns with you, then tap in. If it doesn't, don't. Make sure you go to InsideLimitlessBNB.com to check out, how you could tap into the rent arbitrage industry, make money without actually having to own property. He'll show you, right? Hov did that, so hopefully you ain't got to go through that, right? So he went through the trials and tribulations, so he's going to teach you how to do it. My brother, I enjoy this interview. A lot of knowledge. I hope people go back and watch it because you actually dropped a lot of gems that may go over people's heads, like a lot of metaphysical stuff that, if you know me, I truly believe in the power of energy, the power of manifestation, the power of alignment, and even your story is a continuous journey of being energetically aligned with success, right? And the last thing I'll say though too, is that, we have to understand, I don't believe in negative or positive. I don't believe in good or bad. I know that all things come from God, right? And so all things are working for my greater good. So even if I'm in a space where something that we would quote unquote call negative happens in my life, I know that it's just a setup for what God has planned for me, and I gotta go with the flow, right? I can't just be appreciative for this, for all the so-called wins, because even the negative things are actually wins because it's propelling me to that next level, right?
That's good.
And so I wanted to say that. But if people wanted to tap in with you, follow you on social media, where can they find you?
Listen, man, you guys can find me on Instagram, right? Kamoy, KEMOY _ Martin, MARTIN. I'm on TikTok, the Kamoy Martin, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff, but mainly Instagram, right? And also you can subscribe to my YouTube channel too, right? Kamoy Martin.
Yo, tap in. Look, this guy got good energy. You know what I'm saying? He got all the TikToks, but he's like, come with me. He got the big smile. He's like, yo, come, let me show you. Let me take you into my world. Let me show you, right? You can live vicariously through him until you tap into something else, to that vibration, and then you can actually, enjoy bliss and abundance yourself.
For sure.
All right, y'all, we are closing out the vault. Another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash. Make sure you check us out on our website, InsideTheVaultShow.com. There, you can subscribe. You can see all the back episodes. You can do all that stuff. I need you to rate. I need you to review. I need you to tell a friend to tell a friend. Follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. Me, I am Ash Cash. Make sure you visit me, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at I am Ash Cash. And I'll see you next time for another awesome episode in God's will. Same time, same place. All right, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Oh yeah. You want Ash Cash, you can catch it right here in the vault.